Everyone these days is a camera. In fact, you probably have at least two on you right now. Probably even more. We use these things all the time, but how do they actually work? So there's two main types of cameras, digital and film, but I'm just going to cover film today, since that's what came first and I'm a total hipster. Now, photographic film is pretty much just plastic, with a layer of some photographic emulsion. That sounds big and complicated, but all it comes down to is this. It's coated in a gelatin, with a silver halide, or silver salt, mixed in. Basically what happens is a tiny smidgen of the little bit changes into a tiny smidgen of metallic silver. This is how the film stores the information, and when you develop it, it brings out the information by making the rest of the little bit change with the tiny smidgen. That's why film has to be developed in a special darkroom, because any additional light would ruin the photos you took. That's all well and good, but how does a camera use this weird chemistry trick to produce an actual image? Because if you just hold up some photographic film in the air to take a picture, all you'd get is a completely white image. Okay, so this is a super old camera I just happen to own. Now if I take off the back, you can see this is where the film goes. That's where your image ends up, obviously. And this right here is the lens. The lens is what focuses the light on the film. It's pretty much like glasses for a camera, except cameras have the worst eyesight ever, because their glasses cost like 30 grand. This shutter here actually blocks off the light coming through the lens. That's because if light was always falling on the film, just like if you were holding up film to the sun, the picture would come out completely white. So when you hit the shutter button, the shutter comes down like this, and that little tiny bit of light you can see coming through is all the film needs to capture a photo. And the reason it's so quick is because if it was longer, one, the film would become overexposed, which basically does to a photo what looking at a bright light does to you. And two, there will be a whole lot of motion blur. Basically, from the time the shutter is open to the time it's closed, anything that moves will become a blur. This effect can actually look pretty cool sometimes, but generally speaking it would drive you nuts. So that's super cool, but the shutter blocking off the lens has a side effect. You can't see out of it to look at what you're pointing the camera at in the first place. How to get around it? Simple. You just put another lens above the actual lens, so you can get an idea of what you're looking at. But that's all it is, an idea. That's why people used to cut off heads a lot in photos, because the point of view of the viewfinder is slightly above the actual point of view of the shot. If you've never used a camera like this before, take out your phone and just look at how much of a difference an inch can make in your photo. So, whenever you take a photo, this is what happens. You look through the viewfinder, being careful to aim slightly above what you're trying to take a picture of. You push the shutter button, moving the shutter to expose a tiny bit of light onto the film, which gets physically saved onto the film using gelatin with silver halide mixed in. Or at least that's what would have happened like 10 years ago. To find out what happens nowadays, you're going to have to tune in next time. Oh, and by the way, yeah, since film uses gelatin, it's not vegan, and depending how you look at it, it's not vegetarian either.